I found myself staring at Perplexity AI's search bar, fingers hovering over the keyboard. I'd been in product management long enough to know the landscape, but I wanted to see what pathways existed beyond the usual grind. What opportunities were out there if I leaned into growth, strategy, or leadership? So I typed my question plainly. What career paths exist for me as a product manager, and what certifications or courses could help me get there? Perplexity churned through its sources and delivered a surprisingly thorough map. The most obvious route was the product leadership ladder, moving from PM to senior PM, then director, VP, and eventually chief product officer. But the alternatives caught my attention. I could pivot into product marketing, dive into growth, shift toward product operations, or even branch into general management, strategy, consulting, venture capital, or founding my own startup. Each path had its own logic, its own skill stack, its own identity. It suggested I think about upskilling areas based on where I wanted to go. For the leadership track, I'd need to sharpen product strategy, analytics, roadmap prioritization, stakeholder leadership, and executive presence. If I leaned toward growth or marketing, the focus would shift to experimentation, positioning, funnel analysis, and go-to-market planning. For strategy or VC, the emphasis was on market sizing, competitive analysis, financial thinking, and judgment under uncertainty. It was like the AI had mapped out not just what I could do but how I'd need to evolve to do it well. I realized I was gravitating toward the leadership and strategy route. Something about the idea of owning both the vision and the operating model felt right. So I followed up with a more targeted question. What training combines a broad PM certificate with analytics and strategy? Perplexity came back with a clean recommendation. First, a foundational product certificate like Product School PMC or Pragmatic Institute PM certification. Second, a dedicated analytics course like Pendo's Product Analytics certification, which teaches metrics, experimentation, and data-driven culture. Third, a strategy-focused executive program like Wharton's Product Management and Strategy or Cornell's Executive Product Leadership. That felt intentional. It covered craft, analytical maturity, and strategic decision-making, which is exactly what hiring managers expect from product leaders. I wanted to understand the trade-offs between Wharton and Cornell, so I asked for a side-by-side comparison. Wharton's program emerged as the more comprehensive option. It covered the full product lifecycle from concept and design through customer feedback, metrics, and commercialization. It explicitly addressed go-to-market strategy, design thinking, agile methods, and business metrics. The audience was broader too, including not just PMs but also marketers, entrepreneurs, consultants, and senior executives. If I wanted a systematic, end-to-end product management curriculum, Wharton was the stronger match. Cornell's Executive Product Leadership, on the other hand, was shorter, more exclusive, and explicitly framed for senior leaders. It emphasized leadership, digital transformation, organizational models, AI and machine learning, inclusive high-performing teams, and product vision. The cohort was intentionally small, and the networking element seemed to be a major part of the value. If I already had solid PM fundamentals and wanted sharper strategic leadership exposure, Cornell would be the better fit. The AI's advice was practical. Choose Wharton if you're still building toward product leadership. Choose Cornell if you're already operating at a senior level. I wasn't ready to commit yet, so I pushed further. What are the best product leadership programs besides Wharton and Cornell? Perplexity responded with a richer list. Product School, Pragmatic Institute, Reforge, UC Berkeley Executive Education, MIT Professional Education, Stanford Online, eCornell's Product Management 360, and INSEAD. Each had its own positioning. Product School and Pragmatic were practical and cohort-based. Berkeley, MIT, and Stanford carried executive-level brand weight and strategy focus. Reforge was the deepest option for senior PMs who wanted advanced operating depth around scaling product and growth. What struck me most was how Perplexity had transformed what could have been hours of scattered Googling into a focused strategic conversation. Instead of drowning in blog posts and forum threads, I had a clear framework, complete with specific program names, trade-offs between options. The AI didn't just hand me a list of courses. It helped me understand why each one mattered and when to take it based on where I was in my career. That kind of structured guidance made the overwhelming landscape of product management education feel navigable.